Starlight Keep HFY presents Earth 101, How Not to Die on the Blue Marble. Chapter 5, Folklore and Quirks. The ambient light in the lecture hall dimmed as Seraphine Moonshadow waved her hand over the control orb, signaling a transition to a new topic. The holographic display shifted, revealing an ancient, ornate book opening to pages filled with intricate illustrations. "Now," Seraphine began, her voice taking on a tone of intrigue, "let us delve into the realm of human folklore and cultural peculiarities." An image materialized above the students, a depiction of a majestic creature with the body of a lion, the wings of an eagle, and the tail of a serpent. "This is the Manticore," Seraphine explained, "a mythical beast from human legends. Though not real, it embodies many fears and fascinations of human society." Several students leaned forward, their eyes reflecting the glow of the hologram. A soft murmur rippled through the hall. An avian student, Lilia, tilted her head in confusion. Why would humans create stories about such terrifying creatures? "Excellent question," Seraphine replied. "Human folklore often serves as a means to explain the unknown, to teach moral lessons, or simply to entertain. These myths are a window into their values and imaginations." She gestured, and the image changed to a towering figure clad in armor, wielding a shining sword. "Here we have the legend of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, tales of honor, bravery, and the quest for something they call the Holy Grail." Zelix the Carillion raised a hand. "Ambassador, what is the purpose of this Holy Grail?" "In their legends," Seraphine explained, "it's a sacred object said to grant eternal life or infinite wealth. The pursuit of it symbolizes a quest for perfection or enlightenment." Quillen's tentacles swayed thoughtfully. "So, they create elaborate stories to convey ideals." "Precisely," Seraphine affirmed. "These narratives have shaped their cultures for millennia." She advanced the hologram to display a creature with a horse's body and a single spiraling horn protruding from its forehead. "This is a unicorn," she said, smiling softly, "often associated with purity and grace." A collective awe emanated from the class. Even Zarkon seemed mildly intrigued. "Do they believe these creatures exist?" the Ayako asked, hues shifting to a curious amber. "Historically some did," Seraphine replied, "but in modern times, they are understood as mythical. However, the symbolism remains powerful in their art and literature." Lilia fluttered her wings gently. "It's fascinating how they personify virtues through imaginary beings." "Indeed," Seraphine agreed. "Their folklore is rich with such examples." She paused, a twinkle in her eye. "But not all their cultural quirks are so lofty." With a swift motion, she brought up images of humans engaging in peculiar activities, chasing wheels of cheese down steep hills, wearing outrageous costumes while running through city streets, and assembling en masse to throw colored powders at one another. The students stared in bafflement. "Behold some of Earth's more unconventional festivals," Seraphine announced. "This is the Cheese Rolling Festival, where participants hurl themselves down a hill in pursuit of a wheel of cheese." Tovia's fur bristled in disbelief. "They risk injury? For dairy." Seraphine suppressed a chuckle. "Yes, for dairy. It's considered a thrilling tradition." She pointed to the next image. "And this is the running of the bulls in Pamplona. Humans run ahead of a group of bulls through narrow streets." The Ayako turned a pale shade of lavender. "But bulls are large and can be dangerous." "Correct," Seraphine nodded. "That's part of the allure, apparently." Quillen's tentacles curled protectively. "Do they survive this?" "Mostly," Seraphine replied lightly. "Safety measures are minimal." Zelix shook his head, crystalline horns glinting. "It's as if they seek out peril for entertainment." "Precisely," Seraphine said. "Their threshold for acceptable risk is, as we've discussed, remarkably high." She moved on to a video clip of humans dancing in synchronized movements, clad in colorful attire, as massive dragon figures weaved among them. This is the dragon dance, a traditional performance during their Lunar New Year celebrations in some cultures. It symbolizes prosperity and good fortune. Lilia's eyes sparkled. At least this seems less hazardous. True, Seraphine conceded. Not all their traditions involve personal danger. She concluded with an image of humans gathered around a tree, adorned with lights and ornaments. This is a celebration called Christmas, she explained. It's a time of giving, community, and, interestingly, involves the belief in a human dressed in red who delivers gifts to children worldwide in a single night. Zarkon raised an eyebrow. Logistically improbable. Indeed, Seraphine agreed with a smile. But it's the spirit of the tradition that matters. The class seemed to relax, amused by these insights into human culture. Why do they hold on to these myths and festivals? The Ayako wondered aloud. Because they foster a sense of identity and continuity, Seraphine said. They connect generations, instill shared values, and bring joy. Zelix mused. Perhaps in understanding their stories, we can better understand them. That's the goal, Seraphine affirmed. Cultural quirks often reveal deeper truths. She glanced at the timepiece hovering at the edge of her vision. I believe that's enough for today. As the students began to gather their things, Quillen approached the podium. Ambassador, he began hesitantly, could you recommend any human stories that you find particularly enlightening? Seraphine considered for a moment. I suggest exploring their fairy tales and folklore. Start with the tales collected by the Brothers Grimm. They are illuminating. Quillen nodded eagerly. Thank you. As he turned to leave, Zarkon lingered. Ambassador, he said, his tone unusually subdued. Do you think it's worth engaging with humans on these cultural levels? I do, Seraphine replied softly. Understanding their narratives can bridge gaps that politics cannot. He gave a slight nod, a glimmer of respect in his eyes. Walking out of the lecture hall, the students chattered animatedly. Did you see that cheese rolling? Absurd. I might actually enjoy the dragon dance. Imagine believing in a man who delivers gifts to everyone in one night. Seraphine watched them go, satisfied. Through laughter and curiosity, they were beginning to see humanity not just as a subject of study, but as beings with depth and dimension.